Jai Mahamaya ki jai. Bole Baba ki jai. In our last discourse, we learned about the stealing away of Lord Krishna's son and his discussion with the Divine Mother. We'll go on from there. Chapter 25. The king said, O best of Munis, hearing these sorrows of Sri Krishna, the part incarnate of Vishnu, I am in doubt of your utterances. Behold, Bhagavan Vishnu is in the part incarnate of, Krishna is in part incarnate of Narayana, who was also Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu. How could the Asura, Sambara, steal away his son from the lying-in chamber? The beautiful Dwarka city is specially well guarded. The lying-in chamber is again within the center of that. Under these circumstances, how was it that the demon could enter here and steal away the child of Lord Krishna? O son of Satyavati, how is it that Krishna could not know that this appears very strange to me? O Muni, please explain to me why was the child stolen away from the lying-in chamber, though Lord Krishna was staying there in the city, and how was it that he was not able to know this beforehand? Veda Vyasa said, O king, the Maya called Sambhavi Parvatis is the cause. It fascinates and deludes the minds of human beings. Thus it is known to us. Who is there in this world that is not deluded by this Maya? The jivas, no sooner they are born as human beings, are immediately overcome with human qualities. The devas, or demons, qualities of their natures do not then visibly exist. O king, hunger, thirst, sleep, fear, lassitude, delusion, sorrow, doubt, pleasure, egoism, old age, disease, death, non-knowledge, knowledge, displeasure, envy, jealousy, pride, and weariness, all these human qualities are seen to exist in human embodiments. Behold, the night wonder, the Rakshasa, Marika, assumed by his Maya the form of a golden deer and came before Sri Rama, and Rama was not the least aware of it. Then the stealing away of his wife Sita and the death of Jayatu. Rama's going to the forest on the very day of his installation to the throne of Ayodhya. The death of his father due to his bereavement. All these Sri Ramachandra did not know a bit beforehand. When Ravana stole away Sita and carried her by force, Rama did not know this before or after the event even happened. He wandered from forest to forest in search of her like quite an ignorant man. Afterwards, he killed Bali, the son of Indra, and with the help of the monkeys, erected a bridge across the ocean, and crossing it went to Lanka. He sent the chief monkeys to all the quarters in search of Sita and had to undergo all the troubles of deadly battles in the great battlefield. The most powerful Raghunanda was tied down by snakes and was afterwards freed from it by Garuda. Then being furiously engaged and enraged, the great Lord Ram slew Kumbhakarna, Nukumba, Megha, Nada, and Ravana. Then Rama was not aware of the innocence of Sita, and therefore he made her take an oath about the purity of her character and even made her undergo an ordeal of fire. Afterwards, Ram, the son of Dasartha, had to banish his dear blameless Sita on the mere grounds of a bad name imputed to her by some ignorant person, and that he would thus be free from blame by the public. He did not know that Kusa and Lava were his two sons, born in the forest. Afterwards, when the Muni Valmiki told him, he came to know of them. Behold, also Lord Ram could not know about the departure of Sita to Patala, getting angry once he was about to kill his brother Lakshmana even. Rama, the slayer of Rakshasakara, did not know that Kala Purusa was coming to him. He, incarnating in the human body, did acts all becoming to a man. Similarly, Sri Krishna, the descendant of Yadu, taking human birth, did acts like a man. What more discussion can there be on this? Lo, from the very outset, he fled out of fear of Kamsa to Gokula. Afterwards, he fled out of fear of Jarasandha to Dwarka city. Knowing all the rites and ceremonies of the Sanatan Dharma, he stole away Rukmini, who was chosen as a bride elect by Sisupala. This act was very unreligious of him. Sambara demon stole away his newly born child, and Krishna lamented for this. Afterwards, on coming to know the real state of things from the great goddess Bhagavati, he was very glad. Therefore, it can be easily seen from all these circumstances that he has to yield to pleasures and to undergo remorse like ordinary human beings. Again, under the orders of his wife, Satyabhama, he had to go to heaven to bring the Parajita tree, and he had to fight with Indra. This shows clearly that he was under the subjection of his wife. In this battle, Krishna was, with disc in hand, defeated Indra, the lord of the Devas, took away the kalpa tree, and retained the prestige of his respected wife, whom he had offended. Again, Satyabhama tied him down against a tree and presented him as a gift to Narada. Afterwards, she, the passionate woman, freed Krishna on paying an equivalent of gold chains. On seeing Rukmini's many sons, Pradyumna and others, all qualified with the diverse qualifications, his wife, Jambavanti, prayed to Sri Krishna with humility so that she may have also many beautiful sons. For her sake, Krishna firmly resolved to practice tapasya and went to the place where the great devotees of Shiva, Upamanyu, was staying. Krishna, desiring to have a son, engaged Upamanyu as a spiritual guide and obtained from him the mantras called the Pasupata mantra, and became a holder of a staff and shaved his head. In the first month, he subsisted on fruits only and meditated on Shiva and repeatedly, silently, the Shiva mantra. Thus he practiced very severe austerities. In the second month, he subsisted on water only and stood on only one leg. In the third month, he lived on air only and stood on the end of his great toe. This time passed away. In the sixth month, the god Shiva, holding the moon on his forehead, was pleased with his asceticism and devotion and appeared before him. On that spot, the god Lord Shiva came on a bull. He was attended by Brahma and Vishnu, Indra, and the other devas. He addressed him thus: O high-minded Krishna of Yadu's descent, I am pleased with your severe asceticism. Now ask your desired boon. I will grant it just now. I fulfill all the desires of all my devotees. What desire then there can be that is not fulfilled when I am seen by the devotees? The son of Devaki was glad to see Lord Shiva and fell prostrate at his feet. Then that eternal supreme God of the Devas began to recite hymns in praise of him in a tone as deep as the rumbling of a cloud. Krishna said, O Deva the Devas, O Lord of the world, you alone destroy the misfortunes and sorrows of all the beings. O destroyer of the asuras, you are the cause and creator of this universe. I salute thee. O one with a blue throat, I bow down to thee. O holder of trident, I again and again salute thee. O Lord of Parvati, you destroyed Daksha's sacrifice. I salute you. I am blessed by the sight and think myself as having discharged all my duties and satisfied. O virtuous one, my human birth is crowned with success by saluting thy feet. O Lord of everything, O three-eyed, I am tied down to this world by my attachment towards my wives. Now I take refuge unto thee to free me from these bonds. O destroyer of sorrows, I am very much troubled on attaining this human birth, O Baba. I am afraid of this world, and hence I take refuge unto thee. Now save me. O destroyer of cupidity, I experienced a good deal of troubles in this womb. Next, out of fear to Kamsa, I had to go to Gokula, where I suffered much pains. There I had to obey the orders of cowherders. There I had to attend as Nanda's cowherder, the pasturing the cows, and was constantly suffocated with the awful dust thrown up by the cows. I had to wander constantly in the wild forest of Vrindavan. O omnipotent one, I had to leave my dear ancestral place, the city of Mathura, a rare place to be found anywhere else, out of the great fear of Kala Yavana, the king of the demons, and had to go to Dwarka city. O Lord, in order to preserve the cause of religion, I had to hand over the best prosperous kingdom to Ugrasena due to the curse of Yayati. My elders made him the king of the Yadavas. Following their examples, I gave him the kingdom and am now serving him always like his servant. O Lord Shiva, the householder's life is exceedingly troublesome. It makes one subject to one's wife and go against his religion. There we are always dependent on others, and no word is heard or dreamt even how to free oneself from these bondages of the world. Oh, what an irony of fate. O destroyer of my cupidity, my wife Jambavati, on seeing the sons of my wife Rukamini, has urged me to practice this tapasya so that she might get excellent sons born to her also. O Lord of the Devas, O Lord of the world, I am engaged in this asceticism with the desire to get sons, O Deva. I feel shame and ask you for the sons. You are the lover of your devotees. You give eternal freedom. You are the Lord of the Devas. By worshiping you and satisfying you, who is such a fool as to ask for this trivial and transient things? O omniscient one, O Shiva, O Lord of the world, knowing you as the giver of the salvation, I, still deluded by Maya, asked from you, being requested by my wife, this happiness, that sons be born to me, to my wife. O Shiva, this world and its concerns are the abode of all sorrows. It is the cause that brings in all sorts of pains and troubles, and it is transient and will go to destruction. I know all these, still my mind does not desist from it. The gods of gods, Lord Shiva, thus praised and adored by Krishna, the destroyer of the enemies, replied, you will get many sons. You will get 16,100 wives, and no doubt you will get 10 sons of each of them. These sons will be very powerful and valorous. The good-looking Shiva, saying these words, remained silent. Then Sri Krishna bowed down at the feet of Giraji, the wife of Shiva. Then the goddess Parvati addressed repeatedly to Krishna and said, O mighty armed Krishna, O best of human beings, you will be the typical exemplary householder. All people will try to follow you. When 100 years will pass away, your race will be extinct due to the curse of the Brahmana and Gandhari. Your sons and the other Yadavas will lose their sense on drinking liquors. They will kill each other in the battlefield and thus will be extirpated. Then you and your elder brother Balaram will give up your bodies and will ascend into the heavens, O mighty person. Do not grieve in matters that cannot be avoided. You should know that there can be no remedy to what will inevitably come to pass. Therefore, no one is to grieve for them. This is all along my view. After your death, due to the curse of Attabakra Muni, your wives will be forcibly stolen away by indomitable robbers. There is no doubt in this. When Devi Parvati thus spoke, Shiva with the other gods disappeared. Krishna too bowed down to the Muni and went back to the city of Dwarka. Though Brahma and the other devas are heard to be the lords of the world, still they are all being tossed hither and thither by the waves of the ocean of Maya. They are all like wooden dolls subject to Maya. As their previous karmas, so their several manifestations in the field of action by the great Maya, the incarnate of Parabrahma. She has no differences nor any want of mercy. That goddess of the universe is always leading the jivas toward the eternal freedom from Maya. Had she not created this world moving and unmoving, and if she had not remained there as the controller of the jivas in the shape of unshakable consciousness, Chaitanya, this whole world would have become devoid of any consciousness, like an insentient substance, and would have dissolved in the tamas of Maya, sheer darkness. There is no doubt in this. Therefore, that goddess of the universe has, through her mercy, created all these worlds and jivas, and resting incarnate in each jiva, is directing each and every one of them according to his karmic merits and demerits. Therefore, it is a matter not to be doubted that Brahma and the other gods are all under this Maya. The gods and goddesses are subject to her. Therefore, O king, know this as certain, that the great goddess moves and enjoys freely according to her will. She is not dependent on anybody. Therefore, it is the duty of everyone to serve and worship with whole heart this Devi. In these excellent worlds, there is nothing higher or more excellent than her. Therefore, this birth cannot be crowned with success in any other way than remembering the highest force, the Parashakti, and her place. One should always think, without any difference, that eternal world mother thus: let me not be born in that family which has not that supreme goddess for its presiding deity. I am that goddess Bhagavati and no other. I am Brahman, untouched by sorrows. One should hear first from the mouth of one's spiritual guides. Next, by hearing the Vedanta and other religious scriptures, one should first form an idea that Bhagavati, the Divine Mother, and then if one daily meditates on that goddess, the highest self incarnate, with one-minded devotion, one will get within a short period the eternal freedom. Else there is not the least chance, even if one performs lots of innumerable good works of becoming free. Svetasvatara and other pure-minded rishis obtain this freedom from the bondages of Maya by meditating in their hearts on this highest self and nothing else. Brahma, Vishnu, and the other devas, Gauri, Lakshmi, and the other goddesses all worship this supreme goddess of Satchidananda, Parabrahma. O pure-hearted king, I answered all that you asked me, terrified with the fears of this world. What more do you want to hear? O king, I have described this wonderful Purana narrative, destructive of sins, productive of virtue. He who daily listens to this Bhagavatam, equal alike to Vedas, becomes freed from all sorts of sins and goes to the region of the highest goddess and passes its time in the midst of the highest glory. There is no doubt in this. Now Sutta said, if you remember way back at the beginning, Sutta is talking to the rishis in the Vyama special place that Brahma showed him to be during the Kali Yuga. and he's relating the story that he heard from Veda Vyasa. So Sita said, O Rishis, this Srimad Devi Bhagavatam, called otherwise the fifth Puranam, was recited in detail in days of yore to me by Veda Vyasa. Whatsoever I heard from him, I have now told exactly the same to you. Here ends the 25th chapter in the fourth book of the Srimad Devi Bhagavatam, the Mahapurana of 18,000 verses by Maharishi Veda Vyasa on the Devis, the Divine Mother's highest supremacy. Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Bole Baba ki jai.